Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 661 today. We're doing battle with Dooley. And so I've been having a good time out here with Dooley. If you keep up with the shorts where I post the 10 winners, I've been producing quite a few of them. And so it's interesting to pick up the wins to where he just feels so much better than all the other champions. But he's in this spot to where his drafts are all pretty interesting as well. And I don't know if that's just because of a function of him being stronger than all of the other champions. So like a B tier Dooley tier is just a B tier Dooley build is just better than an A tier Vanessa build or even an S tier Pygmalion build. But I've been coming across some pretty interesting things and a lot of cool infinites and big builds. And so we'll see what comes out of this one. And so as far as this start, the burn core, the ignition core is the reasonable one. Not a huge fan of the actual core itself. And then the weaponized core is fine. The only downside to me with something like weaponized core compared to the burn core is the power drill is so good in this meta, and the power drill does scale up in terms of damage off the weaponized core, but it doesn't get any extra activations out of it. And so I really kind of lean towards going towards the ignition core because I do like those power drill builds if they turn up. And we'll see if that's what happens here if something else comes along. And so, like with all the other games, we're going to shoot for 2 experience points early. Always like to take the experience point on round 1. Going up against the battles here, Pyro is a fantastic option for our ignition core. Just so many good hits out of this guy on day 1. I appreciate it. I appreciate it, my man. Appreciate it, my dude. My bro. I thought this was an actual guy. Looking at his portrait, looks like he's just some guy living in a lighter. That's quite the life to live, huh? It's like being in the genie lamp. You're only called upon when somebody else brings you out. He's just stuck within that Zippo. He's gotta live in there forever. All right, though. We'll get this takedown quick. I used to have a Zippo. My brother got it for me. It was cool. It was a nice talking point. Don't smoke, kids, but one of Bust's worst decisions of Bust's life was picking up the old cigarettes, but at least look cool doing it, I guess, in part because of that sweet Zippo. But all right, moving on. Here we have to go to Midsworth. We're going to get the experience point on the next round, so we got to spend our money here. This is why I like to do it this way, right? Day 1, you have 8 gold to purchase stuff with. And so if you get a good shop on day 1, you only get to spend the 8 gold there, and then you want to pick up the experience points on the next 2 nodes. And so you don't have as much money. But in this spot to where you go experience point, and then shop, you get that maximum money to just dump all of your money in the shop, have the full 6 hex board going into the day 1 battle. And so it's a little bit flipped here, right? Midsworth is where we're stuck. There were no economic options out of that set of items, or there's no experience points out of that set of items. So we're just kind of stuck going here. Got to come in and purchase everything, although I don't really want something like Granola Bar. Then we'll see what turns up in the next shop. Arc Blaster should still be fine. We have the tech out of the ignition core. The other 2 here, not that interesting. Memory card doesn't really help ignition core. Copper Ed with poisons, not something we're really going to use with the ignition core. So as long as we can mostly fill out the board, we're going to be 1 short because of crypto. I guess it is what it is. The giraffe isn't that big of a deal. Now we get to pick up our level up. What you got? Give me a sweet bronze skill. Another upgrade to the burn is good. Getting up to 10, I'm pretty sure, lets that ignition core start to scale the damage. Well, it should be 1 short. It should need to be at 12, right? If you lose the burn every half a second. But it's going to be getting the activations off of these other items, and so we should at least be able to stack a little bit in the early portions of the battle, and then that Arc Blaster activating should get us close enough. Right? When you have it at like 8, it goes 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, and then you have to wait on another activation to hit. Ideally, it would, your opponent would stop at 2 burn, and then you get to scale up a little bit more on the next hit. So you got to 2 here, then we ticked him up to 11. And it was at 5, we got him up to 13. You don't want it just completely resetting at 0 every single time. You want it to scale up a little bit, and so seem to be at a good place with that here for the early game. All right, easy peasy. Got the victory. Feels good. So what's up next? And so, not a super exciting shop. I don't want to be spending a bunch of money. We only have 6 gold at this point, so we can get 2 regen out of the shop or 5 regen plus some health out of the big bite. That's a pretty easy choice with the 5 regen. Up in the next set, pretty shitty shop here. Don't want lick it ever. The curio we don't have the money for, so we're just going to be stuck with the small tool. At least got a duct tape. Maybe we'll get something useful out of that with a armadillo. And then coming up out of this next set, we can beat all of these. The Boreer might be a little questionable, but I think we would still rather just go to the mosquito. It's got so many good skills and good items in here. Picking up rush, picking up crit, picking up the cooldown stuff, all very nice and fun. Might find yourself on a proboscis build, who knows. Get those sweet slows in. I got a almost 10 winner this morning with a almost slow build. A lot of almosts happening in that build, but I had a heavy core along with a diamond hamlet with a bunch of cooldown reduction on him, and so it was close to popping off and going infinite, but I got OTK'd by something and a little sad boy about it. But next set, don't really need to just jump into the item shop. We've got 2 chances at a decent shop, so let's just take the mushroom at this point, get the experience point. Nothing too interesting out of here. We'll just take the loot item. I guess at this point I could be a little bit more compelled to just take a rando item, since we might miss on this board in terms of filling out, but medium items turned up here, so we're good to go. So we'll pick up the fuel rod. I'm not in love with fuel rod, but it is at least a burn item. I do like blast doors at this early stage of the game, though. Just a ton of health. Getting, if you get 2 activations out of this, it's almost like doubling your health at this point, so that's pretty decent. Fuel rod, we'll let go. I don't want to get a humongous stack of items we're just not going to use in here. So let's see, fairly awkward shop, right? I kind of want power drill later. Power drill is not an early game item. This isn't doing anything right now. You really want to have power drill, and then you need to enchant it. And so you have a bit of time to wait until the mid game, pick up a silver or a gold power drill, and then try and put burn or poison or haste or something on it. It's just too early in the game to want it here. I want this pulse rifle, but it's fairly shitty at this point because we don't have any friends. And if we want to get a friend, we can get Brick Buddy, but Brick Buddy pretty shitty without the complementary friends to go with it. And so I'm at a bit of a loss on how I want to handle this. Let's go ahead and sell crypto. It's at 4. I think we'll pick up the pulse rifle for later, but we're probably just not going to use it right now. Just having that one shot is, pretty much worse than laser pistol. Okay. So not super awesome. Let's see how we do here. Thought this guy's name was Enjoyer. That's not a bad name. That's very positive, being an enjoyer. I'm an enjoyer of things. I don't love things, I just enjoy them. But alright, he's doing some kind of armadillo stuff. He's got that scaling shield coming out of the Brick Buddy. It'd be nice if we had another burn item out here. I'd feel really good if we had 2 burn items to punch through this, but I don't think our singular burn core is going to be enough here. I wonder if this is one of these battles to where if we had infinite time, if we would actually win. Right, because this armadillo is not doing enough to break our shields, but we're still scaling up that burn. Probably not, right? The burn would need to be a lot higher than where it was getting. All right, too bad. No 10-0 perfect victory today. Bummer. All right, here. So no experience points. Let's just go to the small and medium items and see if we can't pick up a burn item or something. Induction Aegis would have been perfect in the previous round. Take the laser pistol as well since it's on the upgrade path. Armadillo turns up. Okay. He's kind of in that same spot as that same spot as the pulse rifle, in the sense that just having a damage-based armadillo isn't what we're really trying to do out here, right? We do have the armadillo duct tape combo, which I'm looking to just put forth in for the activations, but he's not going to be like a piece of a late game build without an enchant, and just having a bronze armadillo doesn't really cut it. But I think we still want it. We'll sell the granola bar. That's not something we're going to be using. Get the armadillo in here. He does strike me as an item that at bronze probably should not deal 50 damage, right? that's a fairly high amount of damage for this early game, and so might be a little bit overtuned there. But here we have the chance at the guaranteed 1 experience point or the escort the convoy. We'll take the convoy. We land on a monster. Gotta dig that. Let's get this pulse rifle in here now that we have a friend to use with it. Probably want the pulse rifle. Oh, can't do that. I'm gonna say we got these big activations from the rifle, but we can't put the duct tape between the rifle and the pig. That's okay. Let's at least get the induction Aegis out here for this round. See what we can do. There's at least another shield item with the induction Aegis. It's on a low enough cooldown that here in the early game it is fairly relevant with our armadillo on board, and so
We fight again.
see how this pans out. All right, a very easy round. So what do we got now? Gonna go and grab this upgrade. Take the ignition core on the first go. Get that scaling burn out here and happening. And all right, so reasonable stuff this round. I'm still going to go to the eccentric etherite. You can look at dabbling apprentice. There's some stuff that's useful in the sense that let's actually keep the blast doors in for now. The burn potions are kind of neat. The experience potions are good. You have a high probability of hitting something strong, but I'm going to take the extra experience out of the etherite and then really hope to high roll on rigged. Just as you push yourself into the later and later days, having access to these immediate hastes is such a big deal when you want to
Turn the lights off when you leave.
when you need to just basically take the first action to win. Having access to things like rush and having access to the eccentric etherite haste that just immediately start at the beginning of the fight, so strong. All right, though, no need to go to weapons. We'll just go to the lost crate, pick up the experience. Not a bad start that we have here. We'll just pick up the burn at the dunes. Like, I'm happy with our board at this point. There's not a ton of upgrades that we're going to be finding out here on the last shop of the day. And our build here at this point is pretty good. So we just need to kind of find a little bit of direction in terms of where we're going. We've got a nice start here. Armadillo, again, not really where I want to be with this. We can look to build towards power drill like the opponent has here. We just need a skill or an item to really kind of nudge us in the right direction. Like we're starting to stack up those burns on them. Easy peasy. Again, it's a little too early for a power drill. Walter's not super exciting at this stage of the game, and so feels like we definitely had the item advantage there. All right, so what are we going to do with these? Some reasonably powerful things, right? The generalist burn thing is just fine. Upgrading the core could be useful, especially in the sense that when you take it this early, if you hit a shop that gives you skill upgrades, having the machine learning be a potential skill upgrade can be pretty strong, but I would really want to be pushing towards like a double core build if that's what we were going to do. So that as we got like the upgrade to machine learning, it would be hitting the burn core and the combat core. And I just don't want to be going after combat core with the ignition core. And so we'll skip past it. I think hotspot seems like something that can work with a power drill. It's not a spectacular power drill upgrade, right? When you use your leftmost item, burn 2, which is then going to charge your power drill, but it seems a little bit better than what we have at this stage. right? Like having it at least comboing off with pulse rifle here in the early games, not terrible. So we'll go ahead and stack that up. Seems a little bit better than the freeze at this point. All right, so next set, not super interested in any particular items. Let's just go to the docks and get a few dollars. We can start trying to dig for pulse rifles a little bit later. Double barrel turns up, and gonna go to the mountain pass pretty much every single time. Escort the convoy is so good. Get an item is kind of a bummer. Always feels bad, man. And then here within this shop, we can beat all of these. The Deadly Crooner will definitely kill before he scales up, but the Boiler Room Brawler has access to that potion. And so if we spike the potion, that can be pretty big. And then we also have access to Time to Tinker. And so you could potentially do a lot of haste shenanigans with a Armadillo if you land that Time to Tinker ability. And so about half of these are decent, right? Multi-tool's not terrible, Crit Talisman's not bad, but really shooting for that energy potion. Didn't turn up. I don't think we ever looked to use Toolbox, right? I have to assume that it just scales up with it just scales up with the cooldown. Here, let me see. Toolbox, come up. There we go. Yeah, your tools get the cooldown 5, 10, 15, 20% at Diamond. I'm just never certain what a like this tool build is supposed to look like. So we'll probably just never use it. All right, next set though. We can start trying to dig for some upgrades at this point, but Finn's Big Bite should be pretty decent here, at least as we're looking to maintain our early strength with Duct Tape and Induction Aegis. And so let's go ahead and put the shield upgrade on our items, and then I'm going to look to just take the blast doors out. At this point, probably want to be doing something like this to where our pulse rifles all the way to the left to get the bonuses out of the hotspot. And so the blast doors aren't going to be getting the activations there. So let's see what turns up next. We can go to the just regular item place, the item shop. Power drill turns up. It is only bronze. I'm kind of leaning towards just letting the bronze one go. It's gonna be a few days before. It's gonna be a few days before enchantments start turning up. I don't want to just completely miss out on it, though. We'll go ahead and take it. Definitely want to pick up Battery, though. I really love Battery in this patch. Not going to be leveling up Ballista in this. No hastes. Arc Blaster's about to come back in the build, so that should be fine. And then Blast Doors, we're giving up on at this point. All right, so next set. Yeah, let's take the loot item. I continue to like the loot items in these builds. Cooldown is fine. Burn would be good. Crit's not bad. Shields aren't bad. Just most of the hits in there are pretty decent. All right, so we'll just go ahead and sell this blast door. We'll sell the double barrel. We're never going to use it. Leaning towards just putting in Arc Blaster and then Battery. We don't have a great angle on Battery at the moment. Putting Battery on Arc Blaster sounds kind of shitty. So awkward needing the Armadillo to line up with the pulse rifle. All right, well, our only tech is the ignition core, so the arc blaster is not spectacular, but we'll leave it out here. And then I think I want to hang on to these insect wings at this point. The power drill is a great target for these cooldown reductions. It takes big chunks out of that cooldown, and so don't need to sell it immediately. It looks decent. Let's jump in. Another Dooley. What do we got? It's doing shield stuff with this annoying ass atomic clock. Seems like we're okay. He's not really scaling up a bunch of shields, so those hits from the force field shouldn't be that big. 90 burn, 100 burns, kind of hard to overcome. Okay, we're wearing them down. Seems like we're doing okay. Oh man, we almost got him to almost dead, then he popped right back up. Turns out almost dead isn't quite good enough, but still got him at the end of the day. Oof. All right, what do we got now? Do love Kev's Armory. See if we get any sweet shield items out of here.
Try my best.
Shielded charcoal, I don't think is really on the table. Like I can definitely envision us getting rid of pulse rifle, so it's not super crazy to keep him around. Like I don't think this is a thing. Like a armadillo duct tape plus charcoal, so that the upward scaling of the upward scaling on charcoal gets activated off the armadillo. I don't think that's exactly where we want to be. I mean, we were still just getting the upgraded burn off of the ignition core. But this is why I like to come to this shop, right? You find these random enchanted items and stuff. So not him. Shielded duct tape. Get the double shield on the duct tape. I'm fine with that. The game's gonna break. The game says no upgraded duct tapes for you. Get that out of here. And so as it comes back up, as we're waiting to load, that duct tape upgrade we're certainly going to take. Then to the right of it is the welding torch, the blowtorch, the one that gets its cooldown cut in half if you have shield. I do like that item, but there's one particular skill that you're looking for with it. You're looking for the skill that at the start of the battle, you gain shield based off of your max health, right? So this just immediately starts as a 2.5 second cooldown. I'm going to go ahead and take it. This is, maybe something that we land on doing here in the near future, or I mean, it's probably just better than having Arc Blaster battery out here, and so we'll see how that plays out. But more than happy to continue just stacking these experience points, get a little bit of money, get a little bit of EXPs. Never bad, never bad. Now, out of these, I don't think we want Mod Squad. It is kind of on theme. There is some burn stuff, but let's just fight the Infernal Envoy here. I think he's gonna be reasonable. Maybe we spike one of these really cool burn items, right? That's what life's all about. The really cool burn items. Ripped that guy down. Landed on a cinders. That's not really cool. It's just minor cool, just little cool, my dude. Okay, though, so how do we want to do this? I'm definitely looking to the upgrade. We could just upgrade the core. Gold is typically where I stop with at the cores. But it's like we really just need to find some direction. I would love to find a skill that just pointed us towards what we're going to do, but I would rather that be like a gold tier skill. I think at the end of the day, probably just leaning towards being a good stuff build until we can get a power drill online. And if that's going to be the case, then I'm fine enough to just level up the ignition core. It becomes a reasonable secondary item as your power drill is popping off. So let's at least take the upgrade here. And skill upgrades, sure. Such a long haste on the item. I'm kind of curious with Rush. If we're gonna, I kind of want to keep two things in mind with it, right? Having this like humongous haste on a single weapon is quite strong, right? Both of our weapons here are pretty good, so it's not a huge boon on which of these lands on, but I think we kind of want to be in that space of just having one really good weapon and then no other weapons, right? And so I kind of want to look towards, say, something like Power Drill, to where we just haste automatically that one target, the only target we have catches that haste. And so, Power Drill would be fine. Even just getting rid of the Armadillo combo would be fine. I wouldn't be opposed to even something, say, like Forklift. Just hasting out that Forklift at the beginning of the battle is not terrible. And so I think we'll take the Rush upgrade here, especially if you get it up to like that 7 seconds to where it just lasts the entire battle. Such a huge deal. All right, more upgrades here with B1 and B2. Let's just sell off everything that we're never going to use. And so the power drill, I'm going to go ahead and drop the insect wing on again. I think that's where we're headed. Icicle, laser pistol, barbed wire, we're never going to use. Cinder is onto the core. Is fine with me. Arc blaster can go. I won't be upset if we get a battery upgrade. Again, like I think battery has a good chance of staying in the build, so an upgrade to it isn't terrible. Now we'll just get upgrades on both things. Looks like we hit battery and induction Aegis. Could have been better, could have been worse. And then up against Vanessa. I don't think we want to look to bring in the battery here. All right, let's boom him.
Go ahead, underestimate me. It makes this more fun.
I think it's going to be the poisons coming at us. The old pufferfish doing his thing. Want to jump back in time a week ago, we can just complain about pufferfish, right? That was that was all the world was about. Man, that one did hit fast. He got 252 poison to our 168 burn. Yeah, let's complain about pufferfish, right? 240 burn, that's insane, bro. All right, GG. So yeah, I guess we need to be improving. That was kind of close, but that guy was like by no means OP in terms of his build, and so we need to focus on getting good a little bit. All right, so what do we got here? Go to the small and large item shop. All larges in the first one. Don't want any of this nonsense. In the next shop, definitely not a railgun or a force field build. Don't want the light bulb. Getting good. Getting good. Getting good fast. That's what we just did. So let's go to the weapon shop, try and upgrade some of these smaller things. Man, all the big boys just keep turning up. They're not going to be a kinetic cannon build. Don't want Uzis. This did not work. Second shop of just missing. That's not how you get good, fam. All right, can't beat the Lich. Let's jump in and fight the Foreman. And if he drops the crane, I always call it the forklift, but if he drops the crane, we could definitely switch our build over to something working with this. And having that immediate haste come out and hit something like this is kind of nice. It's not as strong on the first hit, right? You need to scale up the crane a little bit, but at the end of the day, those hits be what you need. All right, so we get past that. Now, I'm pretty certain we want to go to the burn skill shop. The gold shop is where we would go if burn wasn't here. But ideally, we can find one of the more big build-aroundy kind of things. Just fucking silver's in here. Maybe we should have gone to the gold shop. I do like Tracer Fire, scaling up the crit, but wanted to find something like a sick burn kind of thing. I think we'd probably, well, we had a gold chemical fire turn up, I guess, but not exactly what we're looking for. All right, so we pass on that. Let's go to the dig site. Maybe we'll get something random, something cool, something fun in here. Got the catapult turning up. It is a little on theme. It doesn't tie into that single weapon stuff that we were talking about, but it does benefit from the haste out of Rush. Benefits well with pulse rifles, the scaling burn from Ignition Core. Those could all be things with the trebuchet. But it's bronze, right? It's never going to upgrade, just going to be bronze the whole game. Let's skip past that. It's like garbage on this set. A battery upgrade if we want it. Fiery remote control. I don't think that's in the cards. The cooldown on this drops as it scales up, so if you get it to diamond, it's like a 6-second cooldown or 4-second cooldown or something, but it's not enough. You need to be dual core for this thing to be even a question. So let's just take the battery upgrade before we roll away all of our dollars. Now we can look at non-weapon items, either get a free small one or a choice in the shop. So we can snatch up the crypto. Don't want gamma ray. First Aiden turns up. I'm a little interested in First Aiden and then just getting rid of the Armadillo combo. It's a little late for it to be in the thing. The pulse rifle can still hang out for the activations, but I don't think duct tape's where it's going to be today. I don't know. Maybe we just don't have enough good replacements for it, though. We can look to that in the future, I guess. Right, if we want to put first Aiden in, then we don't have a really great usage for battery. It would have to be something... I mean, I guess charging the core is not that bad. I was thinking of this earlier when it was like the 1 second battery, and putting the 1 second battery to the right of the core doesn't really do anything, but 3 second cooldown is a big difference. So maybe this will be okay. Not a huge fan of this. Like I really just want one item to the right of the core. Like I'd prefer it to be something like this, to where just the core is scaling up on the welding torch, but then the induction Aegis isn't spectacular. I mean, maybe it's good enough like this. Just getting those really fast burn chunks in and hopefully building up a little bit of shield for the torch. Okay. I don't know. It just seems like duct tape feels so bad without the armadillo in. So maybe one of these. Still want battery. I'm a huge fan of battery in this. I think this will be okay.
I may be young for
Just got to do whatever bullshit you're going to do as fast as you can, and battery is pretty good at that. See a lot of weapons turning up. Makes me feel a little worse about taking out some of those defensive measures. But we're getting a pretty big stack of burn going. He's got a deadly submarine out here, so he has a lot of potential to get big booms in. But
Next time, boys,
that burn stacked up pretty quick.
More plunder.
Let's check out how many activations each of these things got. So 12 out of the pulse rifle, 5 out of armadillo. Yeah, the armadillo duct tape thing is kind of bad at this point, and so maybe we just look to be at pulse rifle for a while until we can hopefully get the power drill going. So here, let's go to small items. See if we can't start finding some of the hasty stuff.
Just taking the first step toward
Red
good
button's not
taste.
quite it. Not going to have any large items here. Remote control, don't want. Upgrade to crypto,
You're a
sure.
smart one for your
We could
size.
use Bomb Squad as our friend for pulse rifle, but it takes so long to activate when you don't have any other friends, and so we'll just get past that. All right, up next, let's just hit up the docks again. We're gonna sell the duct tape. It does, like, it as we get rid of the shield stuff, it does make the welding torch much worse. I'm gonna pick up a tool. What's this? Burn 4 and gain or regenerate. This thing, whenever they get around to tuning Mac or whoever this guy is, this thing's just not gonna cut it, right? Doesn't seem like an 8-second thing like this is ever good enough. Even if it, like Diamond, it was at 4 seconds. I don't know. Seems kind of sketch to me. But let's go to the shock trooper. Maybe our weapon for the day gets to be plasma rifle, right? That could be a thing. Just scale up those big burns. Hit him right in the face for a 1K. All right, a welding torch upgrade. Okay. Give me that loot. Critical strike. Okay, hitting up the skills. We'll pass on the weapons there. What do we got? Weapon damage. At the start of the fight, gain shield. This is the one I was talking about to use with the welding torch. I'm pretty okay to just go ahead and snatch this up. Makes me feel okay about maybe maybe hanging onto the duct tape, but then not needing a big shield activator for this. Just getting to start right out the gates at that 2.5 second cooldown is very very powerful. So happily pick up the defense grid. It's not as good in this patch, right there. The way I really picked up on this combo was back in either like the lizard patch or in one of the pufferfish patches, as you wouldn't run into actual damage. It was just because poison was so good, and then poison doesn't hit shields, and so you would very commonly run into these like matches after match after match after match to where this 2.5 second welding torch was spectacular because your opponents literally never did actual damage, and you could just very consistently sit on that 10% shield out of the defense grid. Now it's a little bit different now. There's a lot more variety in the builds that you'll run up against, but I always loved seeing that. Now this is interesting. I have a tough time passing on Tox Clocks. I really love picking up all of the haste items that can come out of this, but we do have this opportunity to hit Mountain Pass, and then if we level up, jump into level 10 before the next battle starts. So a little light on money, but we do have a bunch of stuff to sell. I'm just going to take the experience points. It's such a high roll to miss, but we got the turtle. We'll get to level up before the next round. One of these skills good. Get shield off of half health. Not terrible with the welding torch. But this is kind of like what I was talking about, right, with those poison builds. This opponent does literally 0 damage, so we got that shield right at the start of the battle, then he was never able to wear it off. Used to run into that quite a bit. What do we get? Just the monies? Alright, boo. So we missed on the big ones, right? We didn't see a single thing in here that we could use to upgrade the power drill with these things, right? No turbo, no heavy, no freeze, no flame, no poison. So that's a big bummer at this point. We might have to kind of rethink the ability to use power drill. And so, so how do we want to approach this if that's the case? I have a hard time believing we're going to be a Armadillo build, especially as we're going into day 8 with it being bronze, right? You need to really be getting your core stuff up into the diamond space. And if that's going to be the case, right, our core, our battery, our welding torch, our big upgrades at this point, like Pulse Rifle, Armadillo, or just activators not really doing anything. And so I don't want to super invest in Armadillo. Like if there was the shield upgrade here, then I would probably snatch it. But with this stuff, I don't think that's the case. I think we're just stuck putting crit onto the ignition core. It's like the safest option that we have here. I don't really want heal. I'm not going to have a big singular good lifesteal weapon. And so I think crit it has to be. Okay, so let's go ahead and just put some more crit onto this. 60% crit on the core is not that bad. And we're not using any of this other stuff, right? First Aiden's a no, induction Aegis is a no. Okay. Wayne Gretzky says Michael Scott says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and so you gotta take your shot on that burn build, but there's still time for it to turn up. Nice being up against a poison bro though. Give this torch the chance to pop off. Get that big freeze coming out of the petrifying gaze. Seems like we're still doing okay. His shields are starting to stack up pretty high. We might have to... Oh my god, are we gonna fucking lose this one? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That 700 burn wasn't enough. His fucking barrel got big enough to fight through it. God damn it. Well, I mean, this is another round of us hanging out with a couple of bronze items, not doing a ton, and so this kind of is what it is. Get 29 activations out of his pufferfish. Whew, bummer. All right, let's find some upgrades, right? So let's head to the medium items. Anything big in here? I could see shifting to rocket launcher. This could be a single weapon carryover until we get the power drill online, if we ever do. Let's sell the crypto at 7 out of 10. And that opens up the space, right? So we get rid of pulse rifle, get rid of armadillo. It does pick up the extra burn off of our chemical burn and our fiery. It gives us a bunch of activations into the deadly core, and then those burn stacks are somewhat useful. And so I like that addition. Pulse rifle upgrade turns up. I don't think it's worth it just getting that additional damage. I'm gonna skip past that. Right? I'm gonna look to, we'll just sell it. Right, we're gonna do this. Don't have to immediately get rid of the duct tape. Where are we gonna handle these other things? We'll see. I'm trying to decide if we want to just put welding helmet in for a little bit. Probably not. But it's cheap at the moment. It activates fast and has that burn stack on it. All right, so let's jump into the items. See if we get an upgrade in here. Not looking to use fuel rod. A bunch of garbage everywhere. Looking for hasty kind of things. But it's like we don't want our haste item to be cog, right? If we're going to use something like cog, it's going to come in a space like this to where the cog is guaranteed to land on the rocket launcher, but that's going to eat up our hotspot activations. And so I'm not entirely excited about that. We pulled the wrong thing out here, didn't we? Where's this at? Duct tape? We'd rather just do this. The induction Aegis and the first Aiden instead of the welding helmet. Probably better. Alright, so here we can get some burn stuff out of this Infernal Frigate. Just go ahead and upgrade our rocket launcher to diamond. That would be pretty fucking sweet. Getting fire starter isn't the worst thing in the world. Curious, we probably want to move our battery down onto the rocket launcher now, though. Get those faster activations on it. Get the triple activations out of the rocket launcher is kind of like getting the triple charge onto the ignition core. I'm on board with that. Get that fire starter as well. Get that burn up and running. Let's see. I'm a fire starter. I'm a twisted instigator. You all know this one? You can take my pitch up, smack my bitch up. Does anyone know that one? You got your prodigy bands from the 2000s. All right, big upgrades there though. That power drill turning up, coming to silver. The diamond on the welding torch. Looking shiny as shit out here. So what are we going to do with this round? Like, it feels fairly late to be picking up crit skills, right? We do have a ton of crit on the ignition core, but there's not a lot of stuff that's going to come out of that otherwise. Definitely don't want shield skills. Let's just see what the Dooley skills have to offer. There's just so much random garbage in here, though. Buddy system could work. It's very easy for us to just keep, say, first Aiden in the build to put 10% cooldown on the ignition core, but that's not the greatest. Don't want to party like it's 1999. This when you use the core slows, not terrible. I'm going to take the roll here. If we get stuck with something like CPU throttling on the second go around, it's kind of fine, but it's not something I want to immediately have to take. We just got a bunch of fucking weapon upgrades, right? Adjacent weapons get 10. When you use a friend, your weapons get bonuses, or the upgrade into diamond on the core. I guess we just have to take the core upgrade. Rather have the slow thing. All right, now I think we can do diamond items. How much can we sell shit for? Right, we got like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We could get a small item's going to cost 16. A medium's going to cost 32. Is that accurate? So we could probably get close. We do have some decent skills to potentially upgrade, though. Firestarter, Rush. All right, that's too bad. We don't have the money here. I think we want to take the Firestarter upgrade. I don't know. Chemical Burn is pretty good across the board. It's just like the scaling starts with Firestarter, right? It's kind of like a free hit of the ignition core. We'll probably just get a lot more usage out of the Chemical Fire, though. Can we even afford it? What do we need? We can't get up to 20 without selling our real items. So yeah, we'll just take Firestarter. Sing some more Prodigy songs while we're at it. Let's bring out the Sandstorm after this one, you know. My favorite Prodigy song's Darude Sandstorm. All right, what do we got here? Another burn, bro. He's got that Bernie solar farm though. We got the initial higher burn count, but he's gonna scale up a lot harder than we do. Okay. Barely got him at the end. He got us up to 450 burn at the end, but that initial hit was bigger with what we dealt. We would have maybe made it another second. Okay, good stuff. So what's up now? Can't get slow items. We just don't have any money. I'm gonna take Get a Friend instead of chocolate bars, so we can buy something if we need to. Get that 4 gold from the lizard. Up next, just get a slow item. Why is our economy so fucked? Improvised bludgeon is a pretty big pickup, though. I don't really want to put it on the duct tape. I would rather wait and see if we find heavy onto, you know, if we get heavy onto the power drill and then put the slow onto a real item. The duct tape, A, shouldn't be in our final build, and B, activates way too slow to make the slow on it interesting. All right. Should be an easy takedown on the weapons platform. A lot of gold in here. I'd kind of like to have just sold first Aiden beforehand, but it's so hard to spike any of those given items that probably not worth it. Take the loot. Get some cinders. Cool. Up next, I think we want to just take another loot item. Well, man, that's so much when Tox Clocks turns up. We have enough stuff to sell at this point, right? Like, I'm going to put the cinders onto the rocket launcher. That's fine. It doesn't get to scale off of the ignition core, so I think I'm okay with that. Like, Uzi Lizard gets to go. Get rid of this stuff we're never going to use. 36 gold's enough to go to Tox Clocks. Is this a turbo GPU? No. Forklift Ballista. Nothing enchanted. So that's a bummer. Nothing enchanted out of those. Scrap metal is interesting, right? This is one of the things that you can see with Dooley out the course of the game, is you might find yourselves wanting to just say purchase lower level scrap metals even though you're at diamond core, because you can take the cooldown on it by a second. And so 16 gold to put a -1 second cooldown on the ignition core is certainly worth it. I am curious if we would like to play chrono barriers though. I mean, taking out like first aid and induction Aegis for chrono barriers, probably worth it. These are fairly low quality items at this point, and so let's just take the stuff out of here. So we need the scrap metal first, get the 16 gold back out of it, the 5-second cooldown on the ignition core now, then we can afford the chrono barrier. Definitely want to get that diamonded up, one of the just absolute strongest upgrades in the game. We're going to take first Aiden out, induction Aegis out. Probably just find ourselves taking duct tape out at this point, since we don't have a good activator to be next to it. Okay, I don't hate it. And then we got an epic battle up against the frigate. Another burn bro. He's gonna give us that diamond rocket launcher on the day. All right, give us something cool. Give us something good, my dude. Trebuchet. I don't think that's it. Sells for a lot of money though, right? 12. All right, let's pick it back up. Fan of baiting our opponent here. Fan of baiting. I had to explain to my wife the other day what baiting was. She's not up on the words like I am. She didn't sit around all through middle school and high school just saying filthy shit, and so I forget how it even came up. Explaining the term baiting. Jesus, why is this going so poorly? Oh, he's got a golden armadillo. I think it had to do. It had to do with people's last names, right? It was how it came up. I don't think it was like Jason Bateman or something, but if you see how they used to do people's names, right? So you would have somebody with the last name Baker because they were a baker, or you would have the last name Fisher because you were a fisher, right? It was very clever, the way that things were done back in the olden days. And so like it had to have been somebody's name like Bateman or Bader or something, and I cool made the comment about how his job was baiting, and she didn't get it at first, and then I had to explain it, and then I had to explain baiting. But as you know, if you have to explain the joke, then that means you've got a good joke on your hands. You've got some comedic gold if you have to stop and explain it, and so that's how you know it was good. What a lucky woman she is. What a lucky woman. But let's see, why did this go so poorly? He was really... I mean, it seemed like... I'm gonna do the replay. I was distracted. It seemed like things were going okay. We're getting decent stacks of burn, but then it was like... he was chunking it all back up. He's almost infinite activating the armadillo. He is landing some crits in here. 61% crits, pretty decent, I guess. Just didn't seem like it did that much. 9 activations. That's more than anything we have activated. 3k damage. Just doesn't seem like we took that much damage and then we were just fucking dead. Alright. See what comes out of the crossroads. All right, and so can we do it? Right, this is the big question: is are we to the point to where we can put turbo on power drill, and then have the power drill infinitely activate? And so again, like what you're looking to do with power drill is you want it to activate. It charges itself, and then you get enough charges off of that thing to make it immediately restart. And so as you use the power drill with haste on it, that's going to have it go up 2. We only need to get it to probably 3 charges, right, assuming it's going to be hasted the whole battle. It's going to get a 5-second haste right at the start off of rush if it hits itself like once with turbo. Wonder how many targets it hits off of turbo. Only hastes 1 item, so it's not super likely to keep a big chain of things going, but we are going to be feeding battery into it a little bit, and then we have hotspot. So when it activates, we should get the 2 charge off of the haste, the 2 charge off of the hotspot, and then that only leaves like 1.4 seconds left on an activation, but we also get the bonuses off of the Aegiuses and stuff. And so I think it's probably good enough. I mean, our other option is just to put turbo on the rocket launcher and just say this is our build today, right? This is as good as it's going to get, which getting the 3 shots out of rocket launcher is not that bad. I wonder, what does turbo do on it? It hastes 2 items, but only for 1 second. I would be so much more inclined to put it on the rocket launcher if we had like another bonus, like if you hate like a haste use item or something. The other kind of perk for rocket launcher is if we get haste onto welding torch while we have the shields, it activates in 1.25 seconds, and so Gets it very close to activating. I think we're just stuck with power drill at this point. Okay, I'm going for the drill. The make or break moment. I would love to be able to just simulate this and see which one runs better, but this is the build that strikes me as being able to like really push into 10 to where the rocket launcher feels like it could probably push us to 7. And there's nothing right or wrong about that. Like, I guess in the current state of the game, if you really want to, try to push towards rank 1, then that decision would matter. But with the state of the ladder at this point, I'm not super interested in worrying about that. All right, so no big small items turned up. Here comes the upgrade. Definitely upgrading Chrono Barrier. It's going to take this from 1 second cooldown to 2 second cooldown. Just a humongous upgrade at this stage of the game. Now we can fight the epic battle up against the monsters. I don't know if Caltrops guy is where we want to be. He blasted our core as well. Ew. Ew. It's tough to get a good gauge on how much power drill activations we would be getting without having our core on board. Since the thing with it is, like, if we assume that the drill is hasted all the time, so it only needs 3 activations to go, it should be able to get 2 from itself, right? It gets 1 from itself, 1 from the hotspots, and then just one of these other ones needs to activate, right? An Aegis, a core, or a welding torch. Taking that core out does really kind of mess with that logic. Let's see how this round goes. There's the initial activation. It does have a bit of a gap in terms of getting those activations in. Yeah, I don't like how long this is taking. This is taking way too long. Okay. Oh boy, just landing on Octopus. It's like too late to just go for it now, but like getting those 8 activations seems like really tempting as we're out here looking at the power drill. So now with this, it's another interesting shop. You could go to Curio and look for rocket boots so that when we activate the power drill, it gets a larger haste duration. But I think we want to go to the Monster Ranch and just look for feathers. So we've got the everything by 4% or the fucking bronze tier on the single target. I think we got to take the hit on everything. Fucking bummer. Now in this set, I think we look to diamond skills. It's so tough to pass on the diamond skills. Like you just don't have so many opportunities to replace them. But it's not going to the diamond skills aren't going to help us activate our power drill, right? So maybe we have to skip over them at this point. I don't think like are the skills on this? Dooley, diamond. Like, I don't think any of these come in and help us activate that thing faster. Knife tricks would be one, right? As we use the weapon, you reduce its cooldown. That gets you to the point to where it can work. Then when you use the core, you might be able to spike well-oiled machine. It's like I'm more towards just looking at the haste and cooldown skills. Let me see. Where's haste at? So something like heavy machinery, when we activate the core, that would give us 2 activations on our guy. Lefty loosey doing stuff. When we activate our guy, you get the haste. Like, these things all work with him. The downside to these abilities are they're all limited now. So you don't just get to use heavy machinery throughout the entirety of the fight. So like we get 10 activations or whatever it is off of the ignition core. And so I think we'll just go to the diamond skills. We're going to look for knife tricks. Didn't turn up in the first set. Definitely not interested in glass cannon. Crit skills we don't want. Knife tricks turned up. Okay. So that'll get us a little bit closer. Definitely want knife tricks as opposed to well-oiled machine. Now we're going to hit up the portal. I would like to find enchantments. Didn't turn up. Bunch of Pygmalion stuff, rando damagey things. Don't want. None of these fit the theme of what we're doing. Not super surprised there. Okay, so use that feather. 9-second power drill. You gotta drop that down, my friend. You gotta drop that down, and you gotta stay hasted. What's this guy doing? On-use stuff. Very, very sucky for the on-use Pygmalion to run against a 2-second chrono barrier. Just the hard counter to what he's trying to do. We were getting pretty close to those infinite activations out here, though. Might have landed on it at the end of the day. Got 24 activations out of the power drill. Much more in line with what we're trying to do. Whew, okay, okay. So what do we got? Hit up the portal again, just look for enchantments. Enter the Thieves Guild. Don't think we want to fight Mr. Moo. We're not doing anything really with ammo. I guess it is a lot easier now to pick up a incendiary rounds. Like, incendiary rounds was so bad in the previous patch that you didn't really want it. But it could do something now. Now with this, I think I did the math once to where you would prefer to just sell all of these individually. I'm not gonna deal with that. Right, if you look, the spare change gold version sells for 3 gold, but then when we come in and upgrade it, the upgraded version only sells for 4 gold. So you would rather just sell all of these individually so you make more money. I don't feel like we're gonna run out of money this game, and so do as I say, not as I do. Am I right? Just complain about gumballs instead. Let's complain about gumballs. So let's see. I'm gonna start maxing up our health. Need the space in the bag for that. Got it now. Very interested in the Lord of the Wastes being able to spike the crit scaling ability, the Foreboding Winds. Would be a pretty big deal for us.
Return to the Bazaar.
It looks much better with that power drill and the knife tricks. Alright, so the Flamberge lands and the game breaks. I feel you. I feel that. Oh, we back at it. Give me those loot items. I guess you can't complain about finding experience points, but really hoping to hit feathers. We just need to restart the game. Alright. Alright. See if we're good to go. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. It's so weird seeing the MMR. I'm pretty certain we started the run at like 7,666. A little bit of the Mark of the Beast, and it looked like we had dropped ranks since then. So I guess it takes like every single battle into consideration or something when it tries to figure out your MMR. I don't know. I just don't know. But let's see. I'm a little more interested in just getting good now. Going to weapon shops, pretty tough to just find the singular power drill. So I'm going to come in and take the health upgrade, the temporary boost. What's up next? We can go to Bazaar Con and get a level up. Sounds good to me. All right, now what do we got? Upgrade an item or gold tier skills. I'm leaning towards just taking the skills at this point. Like, the big thing with the power drill is just the activations. I'd like to have a little bit more damage on it, but the activations are the big thing. And so, who do we want to take here? When you burn, haste the core is not terrible, but the other one is at the start of each fight, haste to burn items for 2 seconds. I would rather kick things off quicker. So we'll take those haste right at the start. They'll kick in on our power drill as well. Get those fast activations, get those get those knife tricks happening. All right, he's got the bullshit in the atomic clock. We got the bullshit in the chrono barrier. We'll see whose bullshit is better at the end. I don't like seeing all these freezes come in. It seems like those are taking forever, but it is at least kind of nice with burn. When you get frozen, your burn is still at least doing the work, and so that helped carry through a little bit there. All right, into that 7 win space. I'm very curious to see how the MMR stuff pans out with this. Like again, like I equate a lot of this to teamfight tactics in the sense that, getting first place is a win, getting fourth place is a win. But it seems like as you're playing the Bazaar, like 10-0 is a win and like 10-6 is not a win. And so I'm curious how things pan out at the end of the day. What their team considers to be a win, if it's just like overall win rate or the number of wins in total, or how it all plays itself out. I don't feel like they've made any comments on it other than, get ready for February the 6th and don't bitch about it when your MMR drops. It was a very Reynad-y kind of saying in terms of how we should look at the MMR updates when they hit. But it's just, it is what it is as far as gameplay goes. It's just a different system, right? Saying that a 10-0 win is the only real win, as to where 10-6 is not a win. If that's how the game's set up, it's just how it's set up. But all right, let's just take these freeze skills. I'm trying to think of any weapon skills sound interesting, and I don't think that they're gonna be. But looking at this stuff, these aren't good. We don't slow. We don't have large items. We're not freezing anything, so we can skip over those. I think the freeze on burn is going to be what we have to look for here. Yeah, when you freeze haste and when you poison. It's at least a big one. 5-second freeze is a long duration. I know I haven't been talking about the shops too much here. It's just there's so little opportunity for us to upgrade and going to a rando shop that I don't want to take the chance, right? Going to non-weapon items, there might be something that we can find. It's just not super high likelihood of getting it, and so I'm going to the ones that are surefire hits. The gumballs, the chocolate bars, those are all like wins, to where this is the first time we're not seeing anything, right? We could go and pick up Deadly. We could put Deadly onto our power drill, but it takes like 25% of your health, and I'm not willing to spend that at this stage of the game. It's a big difference between, day 5 and taking Deadly and losing, literally 1,500 hit points at this point. And so we can look at non-weapon items. Maybe something Diamond will turn up that we'll be happy with, but I don't think we're ever replacing Battery. It would just be really something replacing Induction Aegis, or maybe we spike something Diamond better than Welding Torch. I'm just not certain what that would be. But nothing landed in there. Sad day. Now up to battle against Vanessa. Level 11 Vanessa. I'm always weirded out by these people that just never take experience points, and it's like, who's the dum-dum and who's not? Feels like we just ought to always be at a huge advantage when they have such low levels, but I don't know. I tend to get to these people at the late stages that haven't purchased any experience points and just get annihilated. Not the case on this day. He did not like running into our chrono barrier, but all right. So what's up next? Chocolate bars? Appreciate it. Give me that sweet dollars. Give me that sweet health. Ooh, right into the gumballs. Does anyone want to complain about gumballs today? It took so much clicking before. My life is so much better now that I can purchase 5 at once. I love it though. I love it. My take on it is, if that's your biggest complaint of the game, if gumballs buying them one at a time is the biggest complaint that you have about the game, then the game's in a pretty good space. That's a pretty trivial issue, and having it be a problem is very good in terms of the actual state of the game.
Make good, make stronger.
All right, victory us. So what do we got in here? Snowflake. Very useful if we hit icy onto something. Gonna keep taking these loot items. Cinders wasn't what we were looking for, but definitely don't need the money off of just a random item at this point. Do we want to go to Fens? It is nice health. Oh, the power drill's a tool. Okay, maybe we get a decent tool out of this. I was considering tools since you can run into some, haste stuff to go along with it. Maybe something like soldering gun, which we're not going to use, could be a thing. The flamethrower is a little interesting. We don't have any ways to scale it, so it's not that big of a deal. But that double burn at diamond is pretty huge.
It's okay to just
So we'll skip past that.
It's research.
Which one is this? Dooley's Technologies. Friend, core, or upgrade a friend. We don't have any friends, so it's got to be the core. And then battle time. Go ahead and spin the cinders, put it on our core, get this induction Aegis back in line. Level 12 Dooley. I don't know. He's got the legendary marker, the legendary skin. Maybe I can't decide if we too aggressively chase after these level ups. I feel like I'm not. I feel like I'm not, but all right. So what's up with this? We both have the diamond chrono barriers. We missed on our freeze. Our freeze landed on his chrono barrier, which is pretty shitty. Both of us have knife tricks, and so our weapons should be scaling up, kind of canceling out the opposing chrono barrier. We're both starting to rock and roll now, but his damages are coming in a lot harder. This is another one where I was kind of, there's always that thought and that idea that when you have your opponent frozen, it's nice having burn, because the burn keeps doing stuff even though your items aren't activating. And it kind of felt like that in that stage as well, but I guess with the knife tricks, you're just going to be able to overcome it anyways, since even if you have a 10-second cooldown, then the knife tricks are still going to just continue to wear it down. But at the end of the day, not bad. It was a bit of a pain point with this build. We never really found any good direction in where we wanted to go. We had to kind of fall backwards into this power drill, and this is what to me kind of feels like should be considered a win, right? We got to 8 wins. We broke that 7-win barrier. Looks like we picked up 10 MMR on the day, so so maybe it does count in a win in that sense. But to me, like the way we hit this battle and the way we approached this was like we had the burn core, so we're looking for burn stuff. We didn't find any real direction in terms of what we were going to do. We didn't find any skills that say, with this do that. We didn't get any items that really put you in a big kind of build around direction thing, right? We had some Armadillo stuff going on, but that's not what you're really looking to scale into and build into with these style of burn builds, unless you hit some very specific stuff like a fiery Armadillo or something. And so I felt pretty decent in ignoring that, and then we just never found like a real build around kind of thing. And so we just made the best of it, right? We kept the kind of power drill in the back of our minds. We knew that we might be able to build towards it. We just kind of inched towards that as the game progressed. We did manage to put together the minor welding torch combo along the way. But, when we did hit that one opportunity to upgrade into the power drill path, we missed. We didn't hit, right? We didn't hit one of the 50% or so of the enchantments that would be good. And so that never really snapped itself off. And so we just got to kind of trudge along until the next upgrade hit, and we did finally find one that helped us complete the build. And so to me, with this build and the space this is in, this is the kind of thing that, if we really high rolled on stuff, if we hit a lot of those feathers, or if we hit a lot of the upgrades we're looking for, or if we didn't have to waste enchantments in places, like this is the kind of build that would push to 10. And when things went wrong like they did in this game, you're still able to get a barely win, right? We got a barely win here at 8. And so I like how it went in that sense. And so we'll see if Reynad and team agree here at the beginning of February in terms of what a win is supposed to consist of, because it feels like this probably should have consisted of one. But otherwise, felt pretty reasonable at the end of the day. You're coming in trying to just get all of these big scaling activations happening, get the power drill infinite, the infinite power drill, then really helping us churn up the output on things like the ignition core. And we were getting it together, just didn't get it there completely at the end of the day. And then I did like the kind of approach that we took with this as to where we would like to have one big singular item that we're going to build into, really come in and try and take advantage of the rush. That singular item never really made itself apparent. It wasn't visible. We didn't find a forklift or anything, but I'm still happy with how this went. And so, good stuff. I had fun with that. Hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So if everyone enjoyed the video, hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way, and you had a good time watching. This is Bustin' Me. Thank you for being here.